Hello everybody, welcome back to the In Daddies YouTube channel. I'm Corey.
I'm Kurt.
And we are trying to do this from a spot in Provincetown with a little bit of a view. That's the harbor behind us. And we want to talk about getting older as gay men. And specifically getting older in a largely gay resort town like Provincetown. There aren't a lot of those. So we're going through something kind of unique here, folks. And we wanted to kind of share some of that with you. I'm 59 and Kurt is 60. And it has been interesting. We came to Provincetown when we were in our late 40s. So we came here as middle-aged men, and now that we're getting older, I'd like to still think of myself as middle-aged, but I'm not sure that that's really accurate anymore. As we've been here, we've seen changes to ourselves. We have new concerns about our health and about what our future will be and whether we can be here in the future even. First of all, healthcare is an issue when you live out here. We have a community health center, Outer Cape Health Services, which can fix you up if you've got a fish hook in your hand, but otherwise you need to really go to somewhere either off Cape or Hyannis. There is a hospital in Hyannis. Anytime we need to go and have any testing done, colonoscopies, anything like that, we have to go at least an hour away. And a big concern for people who live here is that if you get sick or if you have an emergency medical condition come up, you're a long way from real help.
We are getting older. We read an article that your body makes two major changes, one at 44, at different ages too, one at 44 and one at 60. And then what else kind of hit home? We have a neighbor across the street, and they live in New York City, and one of them has a heart condition, and they may sell, they're in their 60s, because of the inaccessibility of healthcare here. And there's another guy that has been a fixture in Provincetown for years, owned a couple of guest houses. He came back this spring and we had a drink with him, we were talking, and he said, they're in their mid-60s, he and his husband. They said, we got to get out of town. They also have a place in Palm Springs. And I said, why is that? And he goes, healthcare. So we just started thinking, well, boy, we're almost, we're just knocking on those doors, not too many years away. And what about us? So it's not that we have any, pre-existing conditions and stuff. It's just like you start thinking about it.
And I think that it's normal for people as they get older to start considering, are you in the right place for yourself? Are you in the best place for your future care? And everybody that we talk to, all of our friends who are getting older in Provincetown, or people who are older in Provincetown, men and women alike, all have this concern about being here. It's a little scary. Although I give a lot of credit to the brave people that have gone through major medical issues and continue to live here. That takes a lot of courage. So good for them.
It can be done. It can be done.
It can be done. You have to have, I think, a support system of friends.
Transportation.
Mm-hmm.
It can be done. We're not fatalist in that direction.
Right.
It's just wondering if it's the optimal place.
Right. So we will see. I mean, we're still trying to make decisions. What happens in the next 10 years? In 10 years, Kurt will be 70 and I'm going to be 69. And 10 years is going to be here like that. The 11 years that we've owned the guest houses in Provincetown have gone by like that.
Yeah.
So it's not too early for us to be thinking about it. We are in the second, we're not in the second act. We are in the third act of our lives. We're going into the third act of our lives. And it's time to start thinking about these things.
So now that is what's been on our mind. So now how is it actually here? Just the other stuff, not the health issues. Just being an older guy.
That's the other more amusing, is that the word? Aspect of getting older as a gay male in Provincetown. And I don't think this is totally unique to gay men in Provincetown, but I guess it hits a little bit harder in Provincetown. When we started coming here decades ago as vacationers and as a weekend getaway when we lived in Boston, we were in our prime, and it was a blast to be in Provincetown when you're in your 20s and 30s and even 40s. And you were invited to all the parties, and you went down the street, down Commercial Street, and you caught people's attention. You often got more attention than you actually even wanted, to tell you the truth. And it was very fun. And we were lucky enough to be able to experience that. What has happened as we've gotten older is that we have become invisible. Kurt pointed this out a couple years ago. He said one day, as we were walking down the street, we're invisible.
That's the downside. The upside is we've been able to shoplift. We don't pay for dinners anymore. We just get up and leave and hear the manager yelling at the busboy, "That table's been vacant for an hour. Why aren't you picking that up?"
I think we've become more of the wise old sages in this town. A lot of people look at us as something they aspire to. They think owning guest houses in Provincetown, to have accomplished that we made it. And I think we have. I'm really proud of what we've done too. But we don't get the affirmation that we got as younger gay men.
I think it's a different kind of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the negative. You want to take it as a negative. The positive is the sense of self-awareness, self-actualization, financial security, freedom, although that has a big caveat and an asterisk with us because we don't really have it up here. So there's a trade-off with being invisible. And I alluded to it earlier, is, you don't get the warm fuzzies about, somebody giving you a nice look. But instead of that, you get I've got a wonderful marriage with a sexy guy. We've got money in the bank. We've got successful businesses. We've got our health. We are able to, go to our winter place. You can do all these things that we couldn't do in our 20s and 30s because, Corey and I were always working our arses off,
mm-hmm.
and and buying old houses and condos and redoing them, and so we'd have jobs and then do that. And Corey had to live in plaster dust for how many years?
I still
20
am.
20 years.
I still am. That's not over. That's never going to be over. That's my lot in life. I'm just doomed to every other year having to live in renovation.
Yeah. So, there's trade-offs, and if you're good with yourself, you get it, and you go on.
Do you think us feeling invisible as we grow older is really the fact that we're invisible to other gay men as we grow older? Or is it that we are no longer looking for it because we're coupled and we feel more confident about ourselves and we're comfortable with ourselves? Were we looking for validation before? And we were always looking around Does that guy think I'm hot? Does that guy think I'm hot? And we don't need that anymore. And maybe part of this isn't that we're invisible to other gay men. It might be that we're simply not looking for it anymore. What do you think of that?
We put our own cloak of invisibility on.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm asking that question.
Does this mean we can't shoplift anymore?
Yes, it means we can't shoplift anymore.
Everything has a cost.
I think that there's a lot to be said for being comfortable as you grow older. And I think many people feel that. Many people get comfortable in their own skin. Many people are simply more comfortable as far as their finances go. I think it's more important to be comfortable in your own skin than to be comfortable financially, to tell you the truth, to love yourself, and to make sure that you've given value to yourself and your worth as a person. That's invaluable. I feel bad for the people that I know who clearly do not feel self-worth. Kurt and I are lucky because we're coupled. And so we stroke each other's egos constantly.
Egos.
You don't have to be coupled to have self-worth. In fact, many people we know
or to give you worth.
Right. A lot of people we know do a lot better not being coupled. Being single is the key for so many people that we know.
Yeah, we have a lot of single traveler friends that come to stay with us.
We have a lot of single guests who have a fantastic time. And we have friends who often will say, I can't find anybody. And Kurt and I we do say it to some of them, but we think, well, you're not supposed to be coupled. You are not the kind of person who would be coupled. And anytime you do try to couple up, you're miserable. So stop trying to do that. Be happy, be proud. Everybody's so different. Not everybody has to be in a couple. It's not what you're supposed to do. I'm not sure that I would be coupled if I hadn't met Kurt.
Or same here. And if I lost Corey to a terrible accident, I don't think I'd couple again.
No.
There's some people that shouldn't be coupled. Corey's absolutely right, because I think they would do damage to themselves and to another person. And we hear a lot in our community down in Florida. There's like age discrepancy couples down there that the younger one
not age of discrepancy.
Age discrepancies.
Mm-hmm.
Age disparity.
Mm-hmm. That's better.
Anyway, the young one is worried like they're going to die alone. So I did a little research on that. And if you're worried like what happens to you physically and so forth, there's some great stuff on the internet on how to get over that fear too. Like if you do end up in assisted living, developing a tight set of friends. There's gay, LGBTQ retirement communities and assisted living communities. I just watched a great video on YouTube about that. Don't F up your life to try to be with somebody and F up their life because you're worried about that. So now that leads it to the next thing is retirement. We have a lot of friends, a lot of guests that have retired, and they always ask us, when are we gonna retire? When are we gonna retire? And Corey and I have been talking about it, and we trying to figure out what retirement looks like. We don't have a house in the suburbs. We have 2 businesses here and a little place in Florida. But what does retirement look like if we stay on Cape Cod? And that's just kind of something we're bantering back and forth. Do we sell both the businesses? Do we sell one of the businesses to shrink, our responsibility load, and then take that existing business that we keep and then shorten our season so we can still be here, have less responsibility, do more of the things that we want to do, and continue the fun? and have more fun, frankly. I've probably said this before, but Corey and I work every day of the week. We do get out on occasion, but we work hard. And it's taking a toll physically and mentally, finally. Our patience are running out a little bit, and we view things differently.
We keep saying in this vlog that 8 years of doing anything is a long time. And this is our 11th year. And we're very mindful of the fact that there is an expiration date for us with this.
Well, that's a good way to put it.
But we don't know when that is. It's not right now, but there is an expiration date. And so we are trying to figure out where we want to be, what we want to be doing, and how are we going to do it. Just like everybody else, right? That's what everybody, that's the same thing everybody goes through. But
because we don't go to HR and say, hey, we're leaving in 2 weeks.
right.
We have employees that we're very loyal to and are very loyal to us, and guests, regulars that we've known for a long time now. And so you don't just check out. That being said, the longer we stay, we're at the point now where, things are getting paid off really fast. And so there's this elusive thing where, if I stay this much longer, I'll have this much more money for retirement. And if I leave now, I'll have this much. And is this much enough? So we're figuring all those things out too. I'm finally talking to a CPA, and we have an attorney that's helping us through our rollover business startup, the way we started the business, and if we want to unwind, here's how you unwind. So we've started those things, but we don't know if they'll go anywhere or do anything with them. We still get delight and pleasure out of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But this should be said too, is we thought we had this figured out a couple of years ago. Corey re-engineered how we run the businesses, and it worked great until this year. And we realized it's more tenuous than what we thought. Corey and I got sucked right back into everything that we started doing when we had twice as much energy and we were a hell of a lot younger. And it takes a toll. You get an attitude.
We're not a large business, and so we don't have fluff. And so if even one aspect of what we do gets out of order, much less two things, which is what happened this year, it falls apart. And the only people to come up from behind to make sure everything runs smoothly then are Kurt and I. We're the fluff. And we're not even fluff. We've got stuff. We've already got
jobs.
The silos that we're supposed to do. But there's nobody else going in there to take the ball and run with it.
And you got to make sure that guests aren't impacted. So that's what we do. So with that, I've come up with a great phrase, and it sounds familiar, but rolls uphill. Rolls uphill.
Yeah.
I come up with all these great sayings, and I hear them. I came up with a saying about 40 years ago when I was running restaurants, and my phrase was, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean. And damn it, I heard it on TV about a year ago, and I said, hey, that was my best one. I've got others. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He really thinks that he came up with that.
I did come up with that. I'm going to do a book.
You should do a book.
I'm doing a book.
You should do a book.
I don't have any time to do a book.
So we're going to wind this up. I want to really thank everybody so much for subscribing and for leaving comments and for liking our videos. Thank you for going along with us on this crazy journey that we're on. And
sorry if you don't find all of these interesting. Sometimes it's just us doing, verbal vomit, verbal diarrhea, just getting what we're going through out there. Because Corey and I have been together a long time, and we go through phases together.
Yeah.
And we always talk about it. And so we thought maybe on this particular one that we've been talking about for a year or so that maybe you guys would be interested in it, or
Would like to participate in the talk.
yeah, because Corey reads all the comments, even
And I'm trying to reply to all of them, but that's getting harder and harder.
even when we
Thank you
get
for
called
making it
crusty
harder
old,
for me.
crusty old queens.
No, creepy old queens.
Even we
We're
get called
creepy old
creepy old
queens. Best comment ever.
And somebody that's not going to watch us anymore because he thought I made a disparaging remark about a politician. We're part of the cancel culture now too. Peace out. I know. I love you.
Love you.